Hey guys, welcome to another podcast. My name is Baxter, and this is.
Bevan.
And let's roll that intro. All right, welcome back. How's it going, baby?
Oh, okay. We're in our second week of lockdown here in Auckland, New Zealand, and we've just been announced we've got another 2 weeks to go at least. Had like another 70 positive cases today, so
Oh, 70.
yeah. It's
Far
it's kind
out.
of it's kind of flat. So it started out as one case, of course, and then the whole world was like, oh,
Yeah,
why are you locking down over one case? But yeah, then obviously.
I know. Some people were laughing.
It yeah, obviously, like it does, passes to other people. And yeah, so we've been, I think in the past 3 days we were like 60, 62 or something, and now 70. But at least it's not showing exponential growth going up, so that's a good thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, we've got another 2 weeks at our level 4, which is our highest level lockdown.
yeah.
Nobody can leave the house, kind of thing. Although I had to
It's pretty
say,
much similar situation.
I was on the radio today, so can pick up like
Oh yeah.
ambulance and stuff like that, because there was a helicopter over our house and lots of screaming police cars. And
Oh,
yeah, about 5 minutes down the road, walk away, that yeah, arrested these guys, and there were enough people out doing exercise or whatever. They
yeah,
took a video of it. It's cool, when the police cars, crash into them and like block them off so they can't get
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, arrested them. Yeah, well, when you're in lockdown, you've got to take every little piece of excitement you can.
yeah.
How you going?
Exactly. Oh, it's pretty much the same here as well. Just past the second week, and the cases just keep on popping up. Every day it's either like 20 or less than that. But yeah, what can you do? You just gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And that's actually a good segue because I think one of the things that I wanted to talk about was now the FDA in USA and TGA in Australia have actually approved the Pfizer vaccine. And what's particularly exciting is they've also approved it for children ages 12 and above.
Right.
Yeah. So, what's the situation in New Zealand right now, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So at the moment, it's just 16-year-olds and above.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess there'll be a bit of a delay until I guess the New Zealand whatever people have to examine that
Yeah.
evidence and see. But I imagine they'll do the same. Put it down to
Yeah.
12. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I mean, hopefully we can go even lower because it's kind of schools and stuff where you get masses of people, you know, crowding together. So that's
That's
a
right.
uh, obvious place where it could be
Yeah.
transmitted. Yeah.
That's right. Are you a bit worried? Are you scared? Because you have a 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah. So
I mean, obviously, yeah.
that's why. Yeah, I'd like the age to go down even lower. So yeah, so she could get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But no, I don't. Yeah, I don't have any problems with the safety of it in kids because by the time we get it here and it goes through all those layers that it's been
Yeah.
tested so much.
Yeah, that's the same as well. When I think about my 11-year-old who lives in Germany, and I just think that she should go for it next year. But we'll see what happens. Right now, I think there's a lot of people out there who are a bit concerned about the children, if they want to be giving them if they want to be giving them vaccination or not. But the way I look at it, it's once again, this is what we talked about last week, in looking at the science facts and medicine, what medicine has done in the past, how vaccination has been given to so many children, including myself when I was a little baby and a kid. So um, I think it's a safe thing. And science over time has proven that after taking vaccination, we don't turn into zombies or vampires, as some people would say. But and I guess the bottom line is, maybe the media should be doing more. The media can actually maybe put on some documentaries and talk about how vaccination has been administered to a lot of children in the past. and I guess that would actually change the image which people have in their heads about vaccination. I mean, when they talk about a 5G network being a virus, it just goes to show that how difficult that is to get through to these people. So education, once again, is the key. Once people are educated, once they have the information, facts, and data to prove it, I think that's going to make a big difference to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's more that it kind of goes into what you were saying last week about the social media misinformation. Because I remember in it was 1990 when the MMR vaccine came in. They just lined us all up at school, like basically the whole school, and they were just like, right, and just like everyone got it, and there was no one was like making a fuss, like, oh man, what's going on, whatever,
Yeah,
my freedoms and stuff like that. It was just like, yeah, okay, sweet,
exactly.
this is going to protect you from
I know.
disease. All the kids got it, done.
Yeah,
It's like it wasn't a big deal.
and here's the thing, because reverse psychology works so well in human beings. And I tell you what, if this vaccine wasn't readily available like the way it is right now, a lot of these people would be actually going, I want that vaccine. You know what I mean? And just because now the government is trying to help and say, hey, here's the vaccine, that's where people are kind of going, whoa, I don't need this vaccine. So, yeah,
Yeah.
let's hope things get better. Um, all right. Well, we've already talked about the vaccine and the quarantine, which we've been going through. Um, let's talk about Kiss, the band.
Yeah, yeah. Gene
Now, I
Simmons and
actually
all that, yeah.
purchased Gene
Yeah.
Simmons, Paul Stanley. That's
Yeah.
right. I actually purchased their tickets to go and watch them in Sydney in November this year, and I have a feeling that's not going to happen. Not only that, but just today, Paul Stanley got infected with COVID, and he was fully vaccinated, and nevertheless so they've actually postponed their current tour. Sorry, not current tour, but just the dates. They postponed their dates
Wow, yeah.
and see what happens. Were they gonna come to New Zealand?
I'm not sure, but surely that's the way that all these big bands usually go, eh? In fact, honestly, it's really good that they come to Australia because hardly any of them would fly halfway around the world just to come to like New Zealand because we don't have that many people, don't have that many venues, so it's always kind of like that little
Exactly.
side add-on to the Australian one. Although
I
I remember when Iron Maiden came, was that like 2011 or something like that? They did come
Yeah.
directly, and we had it at the big stadium, and there were quite a few
Yeah.
Australians that flew over to come to the Auckland concert.
I think that was actually they also played in 2009
Could have
Iron
been
Maiden.
could have been 2009, yeah.
No, 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 no. I think they did
Oh, they did two
2009 and
concerts.
2011.
Yeah,
That's right. Because in 2009 I was still in Auckland,
yeah.
and I was planning on going, but I couldn't go because I ended up flying to Australia. But eventually I did end up watching them. It was a great show. It was actually a festival. It was called Soundwave, I think. And I knew where Iron Maiden was going to be playing, so I just went and stood there, front row, center stage. It's like I'm not moving from this area at all, and I didn't because I wanted to see Iron Maiden play, and it was such a spectacular show. They were just impressive.
That's right. No, I remember now. You actually got that ticket for that concert because I think me and you, and Chris,
I
were
might
going,
have
and then
probably.
I had to sell it on Trade Me or something
Oh,
like
you
that. Yeah,
did. Did you end
I
up?
didn't
You end up
scalp
selling
it.
it,
I
right?
did. I'm sure I said you the money.
Okay.
I didn't scalp it. I think we sold it for like exactly like the price on the ticket. Those are
Ah.
diamond class tickets. That was really good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I guess if you didn't scalp it, it would have been a lot easier to sell it
Yeah.
that way because people would be like, hey, wow, someone's selling a ticket. Which is interesting because when Motorhead, they were touring a long time ago and they came to Auckland and I missed out on purchasing the ticket and I ended up going to, so our friend Delane, or the guitarist of the band, um, he had already purchased the tickets to see Motorhead, and I also wanted to go now, so I just went there and I saw somebody standing there with a sign holding want tickets, and I was like, do you want ticket or do you have tickets? And he goes, I'm selling tickets. And so I was a little bit nervous because I'm thinking, what if he's actually selling fake tickets? But he sold me for exactly the same price, which was interesting. And I still remember I paid only $80, and I got in and I watched the Muddy Motorhead,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool. So yeah, tickets. Have you been to any shows in the last couple of years? I mean, obviously prior to COVID.
I haven't been for ages. I can't remember what even the last one would have been. I tell you what, for a while, the only concerts I was going to was like the Wiggles and stuff like that.
Yeah. Aren't they auditioning for a new Wiggle right
Are
now?
they? Well, there you go. Job opening.
Yeah, I think so. I just saw it on the news, and do you know Simon Cowell from American Idol, the
Yeah,
host?
yeah.
He's kind of involved in the audition process as well, surprisingly, which is really bizarre. I don't know how he got involved, but it turns out to be like he's the talent scout. So
Are they going to do
maybe
one of
that's
like
how.
those televised auditions like they did with In
I
Excess?
I have a I have a feeling they probably
Right.
will. It's I mean, Wiggles are just iconic.
Yeah.
So I guess there's money to be made uh, in whichever way you can milk the cow.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Um, so here's something interesting about this week. Uh, this is a Guns N' Roses live vinyl bootleg version. So we have this store called Aldi, which is like a German store. Do you guys have
We don't,
Aldi
but I've
in New
heard of it.
Zealand?
Yeah.
So the Aldi stores are like, I think they're also in US and in some other countries, but it's a German store, and what they do, they actually bring out all these special items for sale, and it could be just like really random things, such as like a vinyl record. I mean, Aldi is like a grocery store, but they do actually sell when they have these special items on, like freezers and fridges and washing machines and stereo systems and whatnot. And so I got this for like $14, and I was pretty stoked about it because the very first Guns N' Roses live concert that I ever watched on video was live at the Ritz in 1988, and I was pretty stoked about it. One, it was with the original lineup, and two, the energy they had. They were like super young back in those days. As you can imagine, in the '80s, and just so much energy, and so yeah, when I actually saw this, and I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. Even though one song is missing, but I can actually play those songs from the 1980s on a $14 vinyl record. So yeah, you can already see there's issues with it, like inverted commas. There's two. There should be only one here. And they cannot really put the
Yeah,
original
yeah.
artwork, so they've stuck some skull with golden hair and a bandana, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
supposed to be Axl
Yeah.
Rose. And Guns N' Roses don't have an album called "Sweet Child of Mine,"
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah. Oh, I also actually got an Elvis Presley record. Did you ever get into Elvis Presley?
I never bought any of them, but yeah, obviously I've heard all the songs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, it's and I got that for $14 as well, and I just realized that I forgot to switch on my lights, so I've just turned it on, my backlight.
Sweet.
Uh, it's there for a reason, so, and this is the reason, so yeah, I gotta switch it on in the middle of the set. Um, yeah, and I was listening to that. My very first Elvis Presley tapes that I ever bought was actually from the warehouse in Auckland,
Yep.
and I still remember I paid only 50 cents for those two tapes. They were like the greatest hits tapes. There was nothing wrong with it. It had its original cover, packaging, everything. And that's when I first started listening to Elvis Presley, and I thought, oh, his music is just, he was like a genius, his singing and just the melodies and everything, and truly the true king of rock and roll. And then I ended up losing those tapes because when CDs emerged, and yeah, there was no room for tapes anymore. And so I was pretty stoked when I found the Elvis Presley record as well the other day, and it only has like 10 songs, but it's fun to listen to.
So, how do you like vinyl? Vinyl compared to CDs, compared to the old cassette tapes.
Oh, so I've always enjoyed listening to the audio on cassette tapes because it's very organic, and there's no compression. The only issues with the audio cassettes was the reels used to get stuck, and then you would end up losing your entire album. And sometimes you even used to get like a fungal infection, or not infection, but fungus
Yeah, yeah.
growing on the reels. So that was the bad part. CDs were great because all of a sudden you got this tiny little thing, and as long as you don't scratch it, everything was fine. Vinyl, amazing. So if you hear people talk about, oh, the sound quality is just perfect, it is because there's no compression on it.
Mm.
It's the high definition sound you can hear. It's so organic, and I just love it. The only issue is like it's costly, so you gotta be very careful, selective in terms of buying the vinyl record. So yeah, do you have any vinyl records?
No, no, we don't. I think before we moved in together, I think my wife, we were trying to get rid of stuff, and that's where we got rid of her last ones.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, so that would have been a long time ago. Yeah.
yeah. Have you thought about
Oh no, because then
collecting some
I'll
or
have to get a turntable and
turntable?
stuff then as well.
Turntables aren't that expensive.
Yeah, it's about the room
Uh,
though. Where do where do I put all these things?
well, you have a beautiful
Oh,
studio.
of
You can
course,
just
yeah,
stick it right there
right in the
behind
corner.
that
Yeah,
computer. Exactly. Right next to your guitar.
yeah.
No, I got my turntable, my very first turntable that I bought was in 2017. And I was just blown away by it. It's just I actually buy CDs. Always been buying CDs, and buying a record is just something tangible about it. Just picking up your copy of the album, looking at the big photographs, the booklet, the liner notes. There's just something just magical about it. And then taking out from a sleeve. And the best fun is actually changing the sides. It's you listen to one side, and then you hear that little noise that it's over, and then you go and flip it over. And I don't know what it is. It's just something nice about it, and I just love that. It's an experience. It's an experience.
Yeah, it's a good point that you made about the booklet, because I remember that, and I missed that from CDs. Sometimes you'd have the real thick booklet, have all the lyrics, it'd have all this kind of different artwork and crazy stuff in there.
Yeah,
Like the artist put heaps of effort into like making this like actual object.
exactly. Is Metallica one of your favorite
Mm.
bands, Bevan? So this is a remastered version that I've got. So that's nice. Cannot believe it. Only 8 songs in it, but they're long songs. What's your favorite Metallica album?
Well, so this is going to be quite controversial.
Controversial?
Um, but yeah, kind of like the Black Album. So
Hmm.
so you can see it's controversial because it's kind of when they went more for that kind of like
Yeah.
radio friendly kind of sound.
Yeah.
But for me, it was because that's what kind of like got me into them, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
from there, I expanded out to their back catalogue and all the new
Yeah.
stuff and like that. So that's the reason why.
I can understand. First love,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know. So so that's interesting because I think in the next couple of weeks, Metallica will be releasing the remastered version of that Black Album.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully the sound quality is going to be better. I think I've always pretty yeah. I like the Black Album. There's majority of the songs in it. They're pretty cool. Sad but true. You know, and even Unforgiven. Amazing tracks. My issue with that particular album was the sound, the drum sound. It was just too much in your face. That's how I felt. It seems to be that Lars always comes up with some crazy ideas, and James just goes along with those crazy ideas. And I mean, if you think about my favorite Metallica album is Justice for All. It's an amazing album, but the issue I have with that album is you cannot hear the bass. The bass has been
That's
cut
right. Yeah.
down to minimum, and once again, it's just like a stupid idea. Lars pretty much came up with that idea as well. They were like, "Hey, let's do this." And then after the Black Album, we all know it's just been kind of like going downhill in terms of Metallica, what they used to be back in the early 80s and late 80s, to what they are right now. I don't know. I think they've lost. People are craving for that thrash metal sound from Metallica, and that's not happening.
No, no, they're a different band now. I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
they did a double album called Garage Inc. and it was them doing covers. So basically, when they started, they were like doing like a covers band, right?
Yeah.
Of like good heavy
Yeah.
stuff. And so it
Yeah.
wasn't the original recordings, but them kind of redoing that back to their days of doing covers and stuff.
I've actually heard of that album, and I think I've even listened to it every now and then, but pretty much after the Black Album, I did buy the Load and the Reload albums, but I didn't like it, and after that, I just kind of stopped listening to Metallica for a long time period. It was only up until Death Magnetic when that album came out. I went there and I said, okay, I'm just gonna buy this, and it was pretty good. But Death Magnetic had issues as well.
God,
It was
yes.
so
Yeah, it was
overcompressed,
terrible.
you know. It was clipping throughout throughout the album,
So there is like a
Uh,
fan remaster of it, which is a lot better.
yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, around that same time period, there used to be this video game called Guitar Hero,
Oh, yeah.
and the tracks they released for Guitar Hero were all good. It didn't have the clipping like the way it did on the actual album. And did you buy the Hardwire album,
No,
the last Metallica
no.
album they released? Oh, you didn't? Okay, yeah, that wasn't too bad. I think there was two songs in there which were pretty thrashy, and yeah, look, I would still buy Metallica's albums. They're probably like not really my favorite band. I like the old school Metallica from the 80s, but I'm excited about the new Megadeth album coming out. Um,
It used to be a thing when you bought an album, like you got it home and you didn't know what was going to be on it. Like maybe you heard one or two songs or something. I mean, you could go in the store and
that's
put on
right.
the headphones and listen to it, but mostly you'd bring it home and
That's
it'd be
right.
like an experience.
Yeah,
Listening to it in that exact order, you know, it surprised
I
what was coming
know.
next and stuff.
Oh, totally. It's and I've got a story to tell about that as well, because the very first Guns N' Roses album that I bought was Use Your Illusion, and I bought the tape and I listened to it and I loved it and became a huge fan. And I was a fan for like at least about a year and a half, and I kept on looking at this album called Appetite for Destruction, which is their debut album, and I'm looking at the song titles, and I just wasn't feeling it, and I didn't never listen to any of the tracks at that point. Um, and I was just listening to Use Your Illusion, and I was a huge fan already. And the day I listened, and I finally bought Appetite for Destruction, came home, played the tape back to front, my jaw just dropped. And exactly what you're talking about, that experience where you've never listened to an album, but you listen to it and then you fall in love with it because you can connect with it. And same with album covers. I think album covers make a huge difference in attracting the listener. Uh, Many a times I would just listen to an album just based on the album cover.
Mm, mm.
So, yeah. How we doing with time?
Good times.
I think it's time to maybe wrap up our.
Yeah, we kind of got into musical reminiscing a bit much there. Oh, that was good.
Cool. Well, that's what podcast is all about. So, well, hope you guys are enjoying our first and second episode, and we're gonna try this for a while, I suppose, and see how it goes. And hopefully, we can get some subscribers and more people liking and subscribing to our channel, and that would be great. Is there anything else you want to say or talk about, Bevan?
Oh, I think that's good for this week. Keep some material for the next couple of weeks.
Sounds great. Well, thank you once again for watching. If you're new to our channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.